Hello, welcome to presentation, PowerPoints. So we're going to cover criteria that may be in the City and Guilds and the Pearson's exams, and I'll highlight them as we go along. So firstly, you'll be given a text file, and it will tell you to either create a PowerPoint or a Word document, as we're going to go on to in further videos. So the first thing we want to do is open up or search for PowerPoints. You're going to have to open up the software for PowerPoints. Oops, bear with me, it's popped onto the wrong screen. There we go. So you're going to get this page up and you're just going to choose a blank one. Well, you can see here we've got designs. So yeah, please have a play with these while we're working through these videos. But what you're aiming to do is choose, certainly for City and Guilds, choose a design that's not full on, because you've only got 1 megabyte of data that you can upload. We'll talk about that more for City and Guilds later, but if you choose something that's quite complex like this with loads of colour, it might not upload. Now Pearson's exams, yeah, you can choose anything as long as it's appropriate and fit for purpose. So just be careful what you choose. For instance, if we chose, say, this one, the Berlin one, you may have a picture that's in there, an image, and half of it may be in this colour and half in that colour, so it doesn't look proper. So you're going to have to play with these designs. So for now, leave the designs, just click on the blank one and let's have a play. So I can see it's opened up a presentation, and the first thing we're going to do is create a master slide so that all our slides are consistent. So headings, where we place the logo, etc. Subheadings are all consistent. Now we can see if you hover on a slide, it tells you what it is, just says no title. So if we look at the other slides we have, we can go to layout. These are an array of different formatted slides that you can use. Now in the exam, you're only going to use these, or you're only going to require these three, but they have to be used appropriately. Basically, all PowerPoints will start with a title slide, and then you will have approximately 4, possibly 5 slides max to create. So the second and third slides will be 2 contents, because you'll have text going in here and you can put images in this side here, and they don't conflict. So this is a nice slide to use for that. At the end, you possibly may have some additional information like emails or payment dates for trips, and they would go in a title and content slide. So just make sure you choose the appropriate one, and you should only have to choose them 3. So anyway, let's get back to creating a master slide. So we're going to click on View. We're going to come all the way across to Slide Master, and this screen appears, and it defaults to this slide here. Now you can see all the different types of slides. If you highlight them, you can see all the different styles of slides. My apologies, but we're going to scroll up to the top one. Now whatever we do to this slide, however we format this, it will link to all the others. If you accidentally, and it comes up like this, stay on this one, you will only format this style of slide, and when you choose another style of slide, it won't follow on the formatting. So please, when you come to create, go to the top. So let's format the heading. So I can see, we'll go to home, I can see it's Calibra 44. Now I know that 54 is a nice size for PowerPoint, so don't want to teach you to be robots, but we'll look at, if we just work on 54, you know it will meet the exam criteria. So I'm going to resize that to 54. I'm going to center align it. I'm going to bold it and underline it. I just want to add a bit more just to show you how it works. Now you can see it's starting to format every slide here. So the only other lines we're going to do is the first bullet point. I'm going to leave that as it is. Yeah, I'm going to leave it as it is. Don't forget, you could change font style, sizes, colors, but just make sure it's fit for purpose. Now, the only other one we're going to do is the second bullet point down. We're not going to touch these. We don't go with that in depth. So we're only going to do this one down. So I want to change this to a rust color so it stands out. I maybe italicize it just so it stands out. Right, as you can see, it started to do it to all the PowerPoint slides. Now the only other thing we're going to add on to this would be a logo. Now they would give you, Pearson certainly give you a folder, and everything's in that folder. I've shown it in one of the other videos, but we can go over it again. So all the images you need are there. Just be aware that if you're choosing an image, it's not copyright protected, and it's fit for purpose, as in, you know, if this is all about ice skating, you're not going to put something in here that's about football. So please just be aware of that. So I'm just going to insert a logo. I'm going to have a look and see where I've got one. I'm just going to insert this one. Quite like it. Now with logos, what they need to be, it can't be any bigger than 3 centimeters in dimension. That's what Pearson's say. So don't make it exactly 3. It's got to be under 3 centimeters. It certainly can't be as large or impact on the heading. Take your eye gaze away from it, or the other images that come in. So I've got the ruler up there. I can see it's under 3 centimeters. So I'm going to throw it into the corner. Now I can move it into the corner with my cursor, or I could fine adjust it once it's highlighted with my arrow keys on the left hand side of my keyboard. I click off, I can see again it's formatted everything. So this is the master slide copy formatted. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint now. I'm going to go to view and normal view, and I can see the first slide is all formatted. We center align that, bold, underlined, etc. This one we left alone. So we are now going to look at how the text comes to us. So this is what normally you'll be given in your Pearson's, will be in your folder. City and Guilds, it'll be on an icon, a green icon on the bottom of the screen. We can talk about that later. Now you click on it and you would get this. Just be aware that there is data further around this page, so don't just think it's just this. So we can see here we've got the title slide, and it's called Cylinder International Cycling. So I'm going to take the slide, the heading across. I'm just going to copy that one and I'm going to put it in here. And there we go. Now, let me just look back at this slide. My apologies. Add 2 suitable images to the title slide. So there's 2 images going to go in here. Now, again, these images will be given to you in the folder for Pearson's, or there'll be an icon on the desktop for City and Guild. So you'll know where to get them. So I'm just going to have a look at some images. Here we go. Here's just an array of images. Now here's what I was talking about. They say 2 suitable images. So I can see these are suitable images. These look more specific for the other slides when we look at them. This is immaterial, so I wouldn't use this. None of them have a copyright, so everything's okay. I'm happy. So I'm just going to take these across. Let's see if I can drag them across rather than uploading them. Cool. So the first one I've got across, I'm going to resize it. Now to resize them, please don't resize from the sides, because that will distort the aspect ratio. It's a bit like a mirror in a fun fair. It makes it look small or larger, etc. So when we resize, we do it from the corners. So I'm just going to resize this photo. I'm just going to move it into there. I'm now going to go and choose another photo, the groups. I'm going to drag her in. And what I'm going to do is just try and get these photos a similar size. Now you could lay them over each other to check. That looks not too bad. Or you can adjust from here. But you have to go into the drop down here to start freezing, so they're not aspect ratios and freezing. It gets a bit in depth, that does. But if you want to play with it and let me know, tell me more. Easiest thing to do is put them over each other and get them a similar size. So I've got 2 images and I've got the heading. Now, whilst we're on images, a good thing to do with images, put a border around. It just makes it stand out and it draws the eye to it. So if I click on the image, my apologies, if I'm off the image, the format tab goes. So if I click on an image, the format tab appears. So now I'm on format. What I'm going to do is picture border. Yes, you could hover on one of these, have a play, have a look and see what different images we've got, make sure it's fit for purpose. But the easiest thing to do would be just put a border around it. I'm going to put a black border around it, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to increase the weight of the border, or the size of the border. And there we go. If you look at them 2, this one, I'll just click up. Yeah, this one looks more, it's easier on the eye, isn't it, to look at than the other one. So basically, that's the home slide, and then we're going to insert a slide. So I'm just going to do the next one. I'm going to insert this slide. Come to the text box. When this video cuts off, I might have to do 2 videos for this, or when this one stops, I will have to jump onto the next version, so apologies for that. So slide 2, you can see the heading is Trier, a place in Europe, so I'm just going to copy that into the slide. I can see the formatting's all done as well, and then I'm just going to copy the text in. So I'm going to copy all that. Remember, make sure I get all the text. So I'm going to copy it into here, and I can see it's put it in bullet points for me already, which is fantastic. I'm going to put the images or the image in this side. When I put it in this text box, it doesn't affect here. So we've seen it before in a Word document. When you put an image in, it starts to distort and move all the text around. So I'm going to put the image into here. You can either insert or drag it across like I did earlier. So I'll just go and look for my image. PowerPoint images. Oh, they're mine. My apologies. A different one. So you would copy them in. So I'm just going to get my images from down here because I know where they are, and it's Trier. There we go. So what I'm going to do with this image, I'm just going to resize it just so it's fit for purpose. So it doesn't affect the text. I could put a border on it like I did with the last one. The spell checking needs to be done, but we can do that now or at the end. And if I just show you now, you will go to review, you will go to ABC spelling, and it will go through all the spellings that you need to do. So I can see that believed, yes, I need to change that to believed, and the 7 I need to change to 7. However, I'm not going to change any names of towns or roads or people because I don't know if they're spelled correctly or not. So I'm going to leave them as they are. And the spell check is done. Now you can do it as you go along, or you can do it at the end. It's not too much of a problem. Let me just clear something on my other page. Cool. Let's just see. So flipping images, yes. Here we go. If you get an image and it's upside down, back to front and everything, you're going to have to turn it around and reformat it. So if I click on format, we can see that what happens to the image, it does move around. Now, if you're given an image, let's just say like that, yes, there are two things you could do. You could hover on here and move it around. Yes, you could do that. Or you can come up to Format Images, rotate, and start flipping it around this way to get it correct. Now, all I would say is make sure there's no words on here. So sometimes you might have a cafe, and there'll be the heading for the cafe will be on there. And it'll still be back to front even though the cafe looks the right way up. So just be careful if there's any text on there. Again, we could add a border. We've got some nice bullet points going on here, so this is good. So I'm just going to go down to the title and content slide because I know there's another bit of text to go in here, but I'm going to let you do that. As we can see, there's another bit of text to go in here, Koblenz. Now just be aware of this text here. It's a red herring. It's not required in this text, so just be careful we don't just enter everything. Make sure we're entering the right thing. So I'm going to come down to this one. I'm going to do this, the heading for slide 4. And I just want to show you that this text I'm going to put in, yeah, there's a bit more and there's balance as well, isn't there? So I'm going to copy that in, and this just says add the logo to all slides. We did that in the master copy. So I'm just going to copy this text in. Now we can see it's coming to a bullet point place, but a bullet points order, that's fine. But because we've got bullet points here, it just looks a bit repetitious. So I'm thinking a table structure would look good here. This certainly is a bit of text to this. It's reinforcing the payment that needs to be paid and when. So a few format amendments I'll do here is possibly just take the bullet point off. I will center align it. I'm going to color it red just so it stands out because it's important information. Now with this one, what I'm going to do is insert a table and put this inside a table. So if I come up to insert, come up to table, now you can choose the table you want by doing this, or you could insert the table and it'll tell you which columns and rows you require. So I require 2 columns, and that's because you can see it's separated by a comma and then one long sentence, comma and one. So I've got 2 columns going on, and the number of rows is 5. So I'm going to click that. So there's my table. Looks a bit in the way at the moment, doesn't it? Certainly does. Let's move it out of the way a bit. So all I'm going to do is double click on a word, Friday, and I'm going to click and hold and drag it into that box. I'm going to do the same with Saturday and so on. I'm going to drag them in. Okay, I had 5 rows for some reason. I only need 4. My apologies. So I'm going to now highlight this and drag this in. And I'm going to carry on with the rest. I'm aware of my time.